I am so excited, so thrilled, so happy to be interviewing a great friend of mine who wears so many different hats. Oh my goodness. He's a motivational speaker, a director, model, singer, and author who is here to talk about his new book, 24 and Divorce, From Tragedy to Triumph. Leonardo Cavalli, what happened?
Hey. Good morning, everybody. And thank you, Lisa Moy, for having me on the show.
No problem. So glad you're here.
As you met before, my name is Leonardo Cavalli. I just actually flew in from Harlem, New York. So again, I'm very happy to be here and be with people in Minneapolis. But yeah, in reference to me, I'm 28 years old. As you said, I do wear a lot of hats. And I just written this book, which is why we are here.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
So yeah, as far as my background, I have a legal background, where I was working for a law firm in Chicago. And, now that that is finished, I had done some music as well, which led me actually back to New York. And now I'm actually in corporate America doing international headhunting.
All right, exciting. So what inspired you to tell the world your story, and what made you decide to write your own book?
So the book is entitled 24 and Divorce. Right now I'm currently 28. So during that time I was actually just going through pretty much a Great Depression. And then sometimes when you go through tragedy, your eyes get open to that in such a bigger realm. So for me, I had started meeting so many other people who were divorced and around my age as well, and I just figured that, hey, I really think that the fathers of our generation are failing in communicating the lessons that they've learned in their lifetime. So I said, if no one's going to take the stand, I don't have the liberty not to. So I want to be able to stop as many of my friends and as many people in the world from making certain mistakes that I made that I wish I would have known about.
All right, very cool. So I know that you were so vulnerable writing this book, but what was the hardest part about writing this book for you?
I think, honestly, the hardest part about writing the book is just reliving the memories. Reliving the loneliness, reliving the hardship, the abandonment. It just went from 0 to 100, real quick.
Yeah.
So, it was just a lot of pain, a lot of bad memories, and then just really having to focus on that. One thing that helped me get over it is just kind of numbing myself to it and blocking it out, but actually having to address it and write it out for people and realizing, or just figuring out how vulnerable I want to be with everyone. So I gave it all.
The title of the book grabs me right away. 24 and Divorce. You see that, you're like, whoa. So why did you name it 24 and Divorce?
I named it 24 and Divorce, because, as it says I was 24 when I got divorced. I was actually 23, when I got married. And, people do say that's too young, but the fact of the matter is I'm a young man who knows what I want to do in life, and my father, who's, a pastor, had always raised me that, like, Joseph, you work hard as a young man, you go to school, you get a great job, you find a woman that you love, you commit to that woman, so there's no time limit on that. And the fact of the matter is I was incredibly, financially stable. I, like I said, knew exactly what I wanted to do, had a great job altogether, and met a woman that I had loved, at that time. But she just wasn't who I expected.
Right. So do you feel that age isn't a factor when it comes to love and marriage and raising a family?
Not necessarily, and I actually addressed that in one of the last chapters of the book, because I actually talk about a good friend of mine who was married when he was 21 and his wife was 18. And just a couple weeks ago, they just celebrated their 8th year of marriage.
Oh, wow.
So nice. there is no timeline of that. And he's very successful, she's very successful. And, not saying that everything was peaches and, cream, shout out to 112, but...
It's so crazy.
Just the fact of the matter is that there is no age limit. If you fall in love and you're financially stable, and I feel like you've got a good, foundation, then I say, hey, go for it.
Is that the advice that you would tell young couples who are like, I know my parents don't think that I'm ready, but we're ready, and we're going to do this. We love each other. We're financially okay. We're young, but we want to do this. What would you tell young couples who want to get married?
Young couples that want to get married, a lot of the advice I'd give is in the chapter that I entitled Red Flags. Just because, again, money's not necessarily the factor, but again, you do want to be wise when you're preparing. For me as a man, I always watch my father, wake up, put a suit on, go to work, So I knew what needed to be, in place for a man to take care of a woman. He always provided for our family. He never abandoned us, so for me, I figured I had things in place. But as far as young couples, the thing that I would say is, take your time, to a certain degree. And if you feel that you've been able to kick the tires and test this person and see that they are who they really portray themselves to be, then, go for it.
You talk a lot about your father. I know this. You talk a lot about your pops.
Yeah.
What's your mom and your dad's situation?
Well, I actually start the book, just talking about my background and then also my ex-wife's background. Just because, my parents have been married for 40 plus years. My parents are from Sierra Leone, West Africa. And absolutely, but the fact of the matter is, literally in my entire life, I've never seen my parents argue.
Wow.
And the fact of the matter is, my mother is a strong woman. I'm talking about, like I said, grew up in Africa. She talked about she killed a lion with her bare hands.
Wow.
20 miles uphill and in the snow.
Right.
just that's what she said.
Real strong.
Yeah, and my father's really strong, but they know how to work together.
Okay.
And they've never disrespected each other, and they know how to come together. So, me being able to see that example, that's why I bring my father and my mother up so often.
Okay, very cool. Now, I've read your book, and I have to say it's an awesome book. I love the book.
Thank you.
I went through so many different changes, I would say, reading your book. I can really relate to a lot of things that you wrote. But what kind of emotions did you go through writing about your life story?
Yeah. I went through just, almost like reliving the depression, because there's a part in the book where I talk about how me and my father really got into it because, he loves me dearly. I'm his last born, and he had actually told my ex-wife's parents, he's like, listen, you guys are frauds. I know that you're here to detour my son, and, eventually he's going to figure that out.
Wow.
So it was, kind of scary in that regards.
Okay.
But one of the feelings I went through was depression, just because, when me and my father got into it, I didn't listen to him when he told me not to marry her. So I went ahead and married her, and none of my family was at the wedding. And there was the countdown.
That's heartbreaking, I would think. I couldn't imagine getting married, I won't say for women, it's different from men, like, because women, we wish for this day, we plan this day. I won't say that you guys don't do that either. But just speaking from a woman's perspective, like, I couldn't imagine getting married and not seeing my mom or my dad or my sister, like any part of me at the wedding.
Absolutely. And it was crazy because there was 500 people here, and I talked about it in the book how I was standing on stage and I felt like a stranger at my own wedding, and it was just wild because, like I said, my father means so much to me. I'd done everything right up to that time. I even saved my virginity till that time, because he advised me to when I was young, and just talked about the biggest thing you can give to a woman is peace of mind.
Love that. All right, so let's talk about this. I did some research and I was blown away. But 41% of marriages in the U.S. end in divorce. In your book, you give tips for healthy relationships.
Yeah.
What is the best tip that you would give for our listening audience today?
One of the biggest tips is, and I'll say it kind of goes hand in hand. So it's like two. So y'all get the extra. But compromise and then also communication.
Okay.
There's nothing healthy that comes out of just holding down your emotions. If you feel something, be able to have the freedom to say it. And be able to respect your mate or your partner's decision or what they're saying, and make certain adjustments. Not saying be a doormat,
right?
But hear what they're saying. They are important. You're with them for a reason.
I love that. We're gonna keep you around.
Yeah.
So you guys want to keep it where it's at, more old school and R&B, and we have some more with Leonardo Cavalli coming up next.
People Station. 89.9 KMOJ, the People Station.
Top the water down and drink. Take me down, girl, you know what I'm thinking. Cause way past 12, girl, you know where it's at. You ain't doing nothing if you ain't where I'm at. Let the DJ know it's showing up.
89.9 KMOJ, new joint from Mario called Fireball, produced by Twin Cities' very own Parker, and Leonardo Cavalli is still with me and talking about his new book, 24 and Divorce. But what's also very cool about your book is that you have a full soundtrack produced by Parker, the same Parker that just produced that Fireball that goes with the book. So how was that like creative process? Not only were you creative with writing your story, but also performing and writing songs too. Like, did you have to pull from a different space to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's even funny how I met Parker. But after divorce, I kind of go into a dark phase, you know, that I'd just never been before, and I was in a club just fighting all the time and throwing bottles, just wilding out, you know, and then I had somehow linked up with Parker and figured, you know, hey, listen, I've got to use my energy in a more positive way. So, you know, he got me into the music, you know, kind of scene, and you know, we started producing, and it was very therapeutic for me to be able to turn my anger into music. You know, and it was just a great process. You know, he's an amazing producer. Absolutely blessed to be able to use his instrumentals, and yeah, it was a great process.
So I love that you said that you use that process of the music and even writing as therapeutic and healing. So what would you tell someone who is going through what you're going through? A lot of people in this world are brokenhearted because of so many different reasons, but especially relationships. So what would you tell someone who is going through what you're going through, a hard time, a breakup, a divorce? How would you tell them, or what advice would you give them to get out of that heartbreak, that depression, and all the bad stuff?
Yeah, well, first off, I'd like to say that, you know, we all know the saying that hurt people, you know, and I was hurt at that time, and that's why I was in the club fighting and stealing people's girls, because I was hurt and I wanted to hurt other people, as bad as that sounds. You know, but my advice would be to, you know, give it time. Time really does heal, and give yourself time for life to come back around full circle. You know, if you stop a painter in the middle of his painting, you know, you're not going to get the final product, you know. So let life become the masterpiece that it's supposed to be, you know. And I'm glad that I let these 4 years, you know, go before I came and wrote this book, because I've seen how my life has come back around full circle, and I'm really glad, and that's why, again, I wanted to share this story.
It's so refreshing to hear a man be so vulnerable and so open with his feelings, because keep it real, you don't see that often. We kind of got to play a guessing game with you fellas about how you feel. So it's really good, ladies. Everybody needs to pick up this book, but ladies, it's a really good read. It's an easy read. It's not something that'll take you forever, but it's something that you will always go back to, just to get advice, because you give really good advice in the book. I absolutely love it. You know, I love that. But where can people pick up your book?
People can actually pick the book up at barnesandnobles.com and also amazon.com, also exlibris.com, and then also my website, www.24anddivorce.com.
All right, so what's next for Leonardo Cavalli?
Next for me is, you know, continuing to speak at different engagements, and, you know, continue to push and promote my music.
All right, and now I have to ask the $1 million question is, all right, you were 24 and you're divorced, and was divorced, 28 now.
Yeah.
Are you still looking for love? Do you still believe in love? And would you get married again?
I absolutely still believe in love. And one of the reasons I do is because, as I mentioned before, I have such an amazing example right in front of me. You know what I mean? It wasn't a show. There weren't TV cameras around. You know, these are my parents, you know. And not only that, but I also add in so many different other incredible relationships of people that I've met throughout the years and also around the world in the story, so that people understand that, listen, this wasn't a fluke in the universe. Like, marriages do work, you know, and even if yours didn't at that time, don't give up on love. I even talk about a great gentleman named Steve Davis in the book, who was actually divorced 3 times, you know, but he got married the 4th time, but he knew all the mistakes that he had made the first 3 times, and that's why he's in his, you know, most exciting marriage right now, and he feels happier than ever. It's lasted longer than his other 3, because he's now equipped. So.
All right, very cool. But we're not done at all. You're doing something super cool tonight.
I appreciate that.
You're having a celebration tonight.
Yes, we are.
Where are you gonna be at?
We will be at Aqua nightclub. You know, we got to celebrate, turn up, pop bottles one time. And shout out to my boy Jado. You know, so again, if you're at the door and you want to come by, just say Cavalli at the door. That's Cavalli, and they'll let you right up, and we can have a good time. I will be selling books even while we're there, and it's also signing books. And just like you would as before, I am still looking for love. So ladies, come out. So, show your boy Cavalli that loud one time.
All the ladies, come on, that is hilarious. All right, so thank you again, Leonardo Cavalli, for talking about your book, 24 and Divorce, From Tragedy to Triumph. One more time, I need Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I need websites, I need where they can get the book. One more time for the people.
Absolutely. Well, again, you can get the book at barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com, exlibris.com. Also, my Instagram is king_Cavalli. That's Cavalli. You can also see some of my music on SoundCloud. Also, you can see that on Bandcamp and download it. And I will be continuously releasing music and videos. One of the videos that's up on YouTube right now is King Cavalli, the song called Afraid.
Ooh, and it's a nice song. Thank you so much for coming by.
Absolutely.
You guys keep it right where it's at. More old school and R&B coming up right after this.
Baby, who am I to judge? Cause how could I ever dream about it when I met you in the club? I'm making up for the both of us, but you dance anyway. You know I was raised in the A, shawty, I don't mind.
That was Usher with I Don't Mind, only on the People Station. Lisa Moy here for your midday. And I know I told you guys that we were saying goodbye to Leonardo Cavalli, but he said he can sing. And I had to say, hey, wait a minute before you go. You have to come back and hit us off with a little something. Sir, are you going to sing for us?
Yeah, if you want.
Can you sing for us?
I was not prepared, but me.
Please double us up and turn this all the way down.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, I guess I'll sing the chorus from one of my songs called How Did We Get Here? Sometimes you're in a great relationship and it goes sour and you wonder how you got here. So here it goes. And we used to shine like chandeliers. How did we get here? And it's like our love just disappeared. How did we get here? So much for trying, so much for keeping our vows till we're dying. Oh yes, we were lying. Now I can just drown right in your tears. How did we get here?
That boy good.
Sexy topic.
Very, very nice. So that is more incentive, you guys, to go out and cop this book, 24 and Divorce, From Tragedy to Triumph. Again, I'm saying bye again.
Love y'all. Bye-bye. Till next time.
Tammy Campbell and Jennifer Hudson are coming up.
How did we